they're keeping sanctions in reserve. They're not going to hit him with a 10. They want to start maybe with a 2, see how things go, boost it up to a 3 if he goes into Belarus, if he goes into Poland. You know, they want to be able to keep that flexibility. Do you think that's a good idea, or would you have hit the Russians harder out of the gate?
Well, if the scenario is what you just described, that we're saving a few bullets if the next step is into a NATO country, I would hope the response would be a little more than sanctions at that point. There is a bright line. It is the NATO line. Yeah. And as we listened to Jen Griffin earlier, it appears, shockingly in that answer to your question, Jesse, he's putting troops on the border of Poland. And so once we get to the Baltic states, once we get to Poland, once we get to Romania, we're treaty bound at this point to respond more heavily than with sanctions. So what are we saving some sanctions for? What are those few bullets you described, Jesse, for? I don't know, because I don't know what more Putin can do in Ukraine that wouldn't warrant our full economic response. I would imagine we should usher in.
Well, I mean, he could do a number of things. He could cut off the pipeline that goes through Ukraine. He could execute the president. I think they are trying to save some things in reserve. They keep asking about SWIFT. But I don't think the president wants to do SWIFT. Why? And explain to the audience what SWIFT is, because we keep hearing SWIFT, SWIFT, SWIFT. What does that mean?
I got to go back in time a little bit to when I was White House press secretary. When I first learned what SWIFT was, I had no idea. But it was actually, I think it was about Putin at the time, too, talking about when he tried to invade Georgia and then got pushed back out of there. So SWIFT is where financial transactions go through, and it makes things quite smooth in the world financial system, right? But you can track it. And you can stop it. And so that's one of the ways that you talk about stopping terrorist financing. Right. That would be one way. Everyone needs to use SWIFT. Now, here's the thing. Biden can't unilaterally do that.
The Europeans have to get
The Europeans are a part of this. It is housed in Belgium. And as I understand it, Italy and Germany were quite reluctant. They didn't want to go that far. So if you don't want to go that far, you're just allowing Putin to go his next far. And my husband, I'm going to give him credit, Peter just sent me a note listening to Dulip in the briefing. He said, so Russians are now going to have to pay 15% interest rates to borrow money. But why are they allowed to borrow money at all? And I think it's a good point, because I don't understand why you couldn't have done some of these sanctions, which seem fairly timid, although today's are better, before, because as Kamala Harris said, you know, it's supposed to deter. And then Biden has to say today, well, nobody thought it was going to deter anything. So what have we been doing for the past 3 months?
Exactly. So this is, SWIFT lets you take your ATM card and use it in Italy or Belgium. All right, so I get that.
So it's an international.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, what happens if Putin surrounds the capital, he occupies the country, he's total control, and then he waits a couple weeks, maybe a month, and he gauges the pain threshold of the sanctions, and he says, you know what? Don't really feel it that much. Things are all right. We got plenty of money loaded for bear. We're going to move now. That's going to look like a huge strategic miscalculation on the Biden administration's part, that they didn't go in harder and pierce Putin personally right away.
Well, I agree with your implied harder line. I think that we could have had a harder line. You talk about warped narratives. The most warped narrative is that Putin has sold the Russian people that he's denazifying Ukraine. He's denazifying Ukraine. He's denazifying the only country that has a Jewish leader outside of Israel. He's denazifying. He's a punk. He's an absolute punk. And Craig and I were in Afghanistan, Pakistan, tribal territories, 1980. The big old Russian army rolling into Afghanistan. They're going to kick ass. They're going to take over. They're going to rule all of South Asia. Guess what? 1980, the economy collapses. The Soviet Union collapses on the back of the Mujahideen, armed with their little Stinger missiles and their RPGs and so forth. This is going to be Mujahideen squared as long as they don't get Zelensky. The Russian, the Ukraine president is such a valuable symbol right now. We have to do whatever we can, whether it's surreptitious or whatever it is, with private security, whatever it is, we have to keep Zelensky alive and in country. As long as he's in country, Putin has not won. Putin cannot win if the Ukraine president is alive and well and fighting him.
Is that possible?
I disagree with that, because Putin has already said that he is going to take the leaders who resist him and put them on trial. Now, I don't believe that Putin believes in a trial. Putin believes in poisoning people in front of the world, and he has no concerns about it. And let me just say something about sanctions, because we've been talking about sanctions for the last hour. They annexed Crimea, Putin did in 2014. Did the sanctions work? No. And then what we had were Biden waived the sanctions and allowed Russia on the pipeline on Nord Stream 2. So he's waived them so far. So there is so much that we've done that has given Putin the belief that he can get away with it. And in addition to that, we have no sanction against Putin personally. It's like, we're not going to touch him.
We're waiting for that, they said.
Yeah, waiting, right. and the international banking system. How's he going to sell oil if he can't get the money from the international banking system? Okay, there's got to be a way to convince Italy and Germany, because people are dying as we speak. And let's stop talking about time, because he is in a position to take Kyiv in the next 24 to 48 hours, according to the military experts. So this long term, let's see the sanctions, and Putin does not care about his people. He doesn't care about whether they like him or love him or hate him.
That's for sure.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.